Have you ever found yourself ogling over a potential new purchase a little bit too much? Maybe a new iPhone, or a fancy blender, or maybe even just a new pair of kicks. I know I sure have.
Me too!
And if you're anything like me, you may have also found yourself being almost borderline obsessive about this potential new thing, watching YouTube videos, comparing prices, and just generally fantasizing about how awesome your life is going to be once you finally get this new fancy thing. And then you finally do get it, and you are stoked. Your new iPhone is so fast, takes amazing pictures, you're making delicious smoothies every day in your fancy blender, and you feel like $1,000,000 every time you put on this pair of shoes. And then some time passes, maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months, but your new iPhone is no longer new, and your blender, it's kind of just a blender. And those new shoes that you love so much, now they're just your shoes, and you just slip into them every day without thinking twice about it. You no longer feel giddy about these things. Nothing lights that spark anymore, nothing feels special. And so before long, you find yourself obsessing about something new, and basically just starting the process all over again. What happened? Well, this is a phenomenon known as hedonic adaptation. Basically, the dopamine rush that you get when you acquire something new, whether it's a new purchase or a raise at work or even a new relationship, that dopamine rush is very short-lived. And before long, you adjust and that new thing becomes your new normal. It no longer feels special, it no longer feels sparkly, and so you start pining after something new all over again. It's kind of like running on a treadmill where you think you're doing something but you're not actually getting anywhere, or like trying to scratch an itch but the itch keeps moving. I've personally experienced this countless times. I've obsessed over designer jeans, I've obsessed over guitars, I've obsessed over financial milestones, and most recently houses, always convincing myself that acquiring just that one more thing will make me feel really happy. And it does, briefly. But that feeling, that excitement, it's fleeting. Interestingly, studies have actually shown that the majority of the dopamine rush associated with making new purchases comes when you put the item in your cart, not when you receive it. And I think we've all experienced that. We've all placed an online order and been really excited and obsessively stalked the tracking portal, just waiting for it to show up. And then when it finally arrives, you feel nothing. If this is something you can relate to, drop me a comment down below and let me know, because I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in this. But I guess my question is, how do we resolve this? How do we overcome those emotional up and downs, the unnecessary spending, and the perpetual feeling of dissatisfaction? The answer is very simple, but also very, very complicated, and it's contentment. It's learning to be happy with what you already have, rather than always thinking about what you're missing. It's practicing gratitude. It's avoiding lifestyle creep. And I think at its core, it's about building better relationships and community, because those are ultimately the things that fulfill us rather than material possessions. A small rundown apartment filled with your friends and loved ones is always going to be way more fulfilling than a big beautiful house that sits empty. I think it's Gary Vee that said, "I'd rather laugh in my Toyota than cry in my Ferrari." It's about learning to make community wherever you are and finding relationships that fulfill you, whether those are friendships, like romantic relationships or otherwise, because ultimately those are the things that I think leave us feeling actually satiated. Material possessions are like empty calories. No matter how many of them we consume, we never feel full. A topic that I've always been very interested in is the concept of your fantasy self. And if you look it up on YouTube, you'll find a lot of people who have made videos about it. One day I will as well. But essentially, your fantasy self is the person that you imagine yourself being at your prime. Your fantasy self might be the kind of person who wakes up at 6 a.m. and goes for a run and drinks a green smoothie and does yoga. And maybe that's just not at all reflective of how you actually live your life, even if you kind of wish that you could. A lot of people talk about the idea of breaking up with your fantasy self, meaning letting go of these delusions of who you think you want to be when you're not actually that person. And I don't believe in that at all. I think that your fantasy self can be something to aspire to. And I think that having aspirations and having goals, especially when they're related to your health and your wellness and your financial well-being, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And I don't think that you should just go, well, guess I'm never going to be that person, and just forget about it. I think that you should absolutely reach for those goals and aspire to be the person that you know deep down that you actually want to be. But it's really important not to fall into the trap of believing that material possessions are going to be the thing that gets you to that place. Build healthy habits. Take care of yourself, exercise, eat well. Invest in yourself, invest in your future, and absolutely enjoy the fruits of your labor. But don't fall into the trap of believing that empty calories are ever going to fill your stomach. If you enjoyed this video at all, or you found any value in it, please go ahead and hit that like button. I really appreciate you guys watching and liking the video. It helps me out tremendously. If you feel like you have anything to add to this conversation, or you have any thoughts to add, feel free to drop me a comment down below. I read every single one of them. And if you haven't done so yet, maybe also consider subscribing as well. I make videos about minimalism, personal finance, self-development, and pretty much whatever else I find interesting. So subscribe and follow along. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. Other than that, thank you guys so much as always for watching. I really genuinely appreciate it, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye. What happened? Well, this is a phenomenon known as hedonic adaptation. What happened? I just spat there.